All right, let's move on to the Pac-12. Let's head out west. This Pac-12 tournament will take place between Wednesday and Saturday in Paradise, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. UCLA is your 1 seed. You're looking at right around even odds, plus 110, I think I'm seeing out there. Arizona is the 2 seed, right around plus 210. USC comes in next as a 3 seed, 8-1. And then, I find this next group pretty interesting if you want to maybe target, like, for example, if you look at Torvik, he makes UCLA, if you simulate it, plus 115, Arizona plus 250, USC 10-11-1. I don't see any value in the top 3 teams. So then it comes down to, okay, can Oregon has been super inconsistent, but they have a lot of talent. You have Altman as a coach. At 12-1, their path would be, Washington State, close to a coin flip game, then UCLA, then Arizona if the chalk holds.
Yeah.
Arizona State, Oregon State, probably be, close to a 10-point favorite. Then USC, then Arizona, then UCLA. I mean, if the chalk holds, that's a gauntlet for Arizona State, sitting at 15-1. Then you have Washington State, 20-1. This is a team that I had circled coming into the tournament, but pre-odds. Their path would be Cal, Oregon, and then potentially UCLA and Arizona. Based on my odds, it'd be like 20 to 25-1 if you do a money line rollover. This is a team that, they have a ton of talent. They lost a ton of close games, and then you have Utah. Like Colorado lost their point guard for the season. Right. Simpson, he's out for the year, which is worth noting. And then Utah, who Colorado just beat, just got healthier. Right, so Worcester come back at point, and then Madsen came back, which is on paper
enormous. Yeah,
enormous. Before he got hurt, per Torvik, they were 28th overall in the country the day before he went out. Since then, 137th.
Right.
So that's more than 100-point drop, or 100-team drop, I should say. But can they get him assimilated into the offense? Can they, build enough connectivity in that lineup? Their potential path would be Stanford, which is not a gimme, then Arizona, then USC, then UCLA if the chalk holds. And they're sitting at 25-1. Torvik has them at 50-1. Money line rollover, I project 40-1-ish. And then, Colorado just lost their point guard at 40-1. And then you're down into Washington, Stanford 100-1. Then the dregs of Oregon State, Stanford, and Cal have no chance. So how do you see this playing out in that kind of mid group? Is there any team worth taking a flyer on?
I think the values, you talked to the last 2 teams, Washington State and Utah. I like how you broke down the money line versus the futures price. I think Utah is the better play to go money line rollover. But if you're going to play a pre-flop future, I think Washington State's your best bet. I think they're rolling right now. Had a ton of injuries. You mentioned how they're, haven't been great in close games. They actually had a 2-year trend with Kyle Smith, who I perceive as a really good coach. I just think they've just gotten actually unlucky. Not that they've just been poor in late game execution. I think the difference between Utah and Wash State is right. That first Cal's a layup, right? But Stanford, you could see as being that weird, annoying, talented dark horse team that makes a run that could trip up Utah and, clip your legs there early if you bet them on the future. So again, I think Utah and Washington State are the best value. Utah moneyline rollover, Washington State pre-flop future with the layup round 1 against Cal, a team they match up well with, in Oregon, who I think people are misperceiving as a dark horse just because they have the Oregon name across the chest. This version of Oregon, I just don't really buy into making a deep run. I know Oregon made that run. Was it 2019? They beat Washington, the 1 seed. So last 2019, Oregon won it as a 6 seed. 2021, Oregon State won it as a 5 seed. Is that right? And then last year was Arizona, UCLA, Arizona prevailing. So there's a precedent for teams out of this first round Wednesday slot making it all the way through. Washington State, like I said, Cal, then Oregon. They've already taken UCLA to the wire, lost by 1 at home. And they've already beat Arizona handily on the road. I just think they match up well with the best of the best in this conference. The theme in this entire league all general has been interior front lines rule the day. It's been an awesome underleague all year. So just in general, I was thinking like if you want to try and maybe take a macro total at lens to betting this, it could be the continuation of the regular season unders that we saw so profitable. But from a futures perspective, Washington State's my horse. I like the Utah look, but again, I would go money line rollover round by round with them.
Yeah, and you mentioned Stanford, which is obviously a much tougher first round matchup than, I mean, looking at the odds here, what Utah is, yeah, Utah and Washington State are around the same price point, and Utah would have to go through Stanford and Arizona to get to the semis, whereas Washington State would have to go through Cal and Oregon. That is a much easier path.
Yep.
And Utah, I would have preferred if, they got Madsen back maybe a couple more games ago,
right?
Instead of just one game ago. That obviously didn't have that. You expected to take a couple games. You saw that with Justin Moore and Villanova. So that, it might be tough for them to kind of put it all together and find their form from when they were healthy earlier in the calendar year. So yeah, I agree. It's all about Washington State here. Shop around. Not every book has odds out right now, so I'm going to shop around for Washington State. I would love to get like a 25 or 30 to 1, especially, but I saw a 20 to 1 out there earlier. But yeah, this is the team that can put it all together. They're very comfortable. Like they're very comfortable in the half court, right? And sometimes these conference tournament games come down to more of a half court style, which might hurt Arizona, which loves to live in transition. They also shoot a ton of threes and can make a ton of threes, which is what you like from a dark horse with that 3-point variance. If they get hot, right, they can beat any team in this league. So yeah, I think it's Washington State. We're on the same page here. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs.